Thank you, Lisa. Namaste, good afternoon, everyone. My name is Pabitra Dash. I was an activist and worked for brick industries workers in Nepal. I am a former nail technician and now I am a senior organizer at Adhikaar. I like to give a little bit background about myself at Adhikaar. My journey at Adhikaar, I entered as a worker, grew as a leader, fellow, organizer, and senior organizer. That's a long journey for Adhikaar for myself. And I'm really thankful to California Healthy Nail Salon Collab for this space today. And Lisha, thank you again. And everyone who is with me now. I like to give a little bit introduction about Adhikaar. You may know about it, but I like to give a short introduction about my organization. Adhikaar, meaning rights in Nepali, is a women-led community and workers center that provides direct service to the Nepali-speaking community and organize low-income workers and impacted community members to promote social justice and human rights. We create access to information, build community leadership, and grow collective power to win rights for our communities and dignity and equity for all. We are women-led and reach over 7,000 members. Our program areas are nail workers, domestic workers, immigration, health, and language justice. And personally, I work for only nails team, and then I give service for 1,400 Nepali-speaking nail technicians now. Yeah, I was in the United States in 2010. In 2010, a friend who connected me to the industry, she's a relative of mine and was the only one person I knew from Nepal when I came to the United States. So we had a connection. She used to talk about how nails were the only option once coming here. There was no other option. It was a kind of thing where I had made up my mind, even when being in Nepal, that I would work in nails. My friend also shared with me it was only the option. When I first worked at the salon, I felt very uncomfortable. Maybe it's my background to support me and push me a little bit as well. Like, salons environment is very uncomfortable to see that environment. Actually, it's not easier for me. So I was someone who could not stand sitting in that type of environment. It was so hard for me to stay quiet. I'd like to complain, but all the other workers there were undocumented. 10 of them were undocumented, and many of my sisters for whom I work together is limited literacy. And my colleagues suggest me to leave job rather than complain. So I quit my job from there. There is no way to complain. After that salon, my friend sent me to another salon and she told me not to speak up and create any trouble. I have to keep quiet. I cannot say anything and no complaint. As a nail technician, I did another kind of job. There is a beauty industries. There is many photo shoots happen. I luckily work on that team and that photo shoot team as well. And I exposed chemical with as a nail technician, I work with the other beauty products things so that I started being exposed to hair products and chemical as well. I experienced my first miscarriage around 2012. I had a friend who did hair and she told me that she would come to my salon to get her nails done and she saw me and asked me if I had miscarried and I was shocked. She just knew. And I asked her how she knew and she said she's seen this before and herself had miscarried 7 times. I was so shocked. She told me she finally had a daughter and once she got pregnant, she quit her job to protect herself. I thought about how I had heard of other women I work with. There were 7 other workers at my salon who had shared similar experience too, and I started making this connection in my head, and I became so afraid this was a dangerous place. After I came to Adhikaar, this reproductive health issues was why I came to Adhikaar. Only the reason I want to raise these issues. So my husband had shared with me, I see Adhikaar is a women-led organization. They are doing nail salon organizing. Maybe you can go there as a member meeting and raise these issues, I was so frustrated at that point. I was thinking that no matter what, if I got pregnant again, I would miscarry again. He encouraged me if I needed to be the one of bringing up these issues. And I went to the first meeting. I had no idea what the meeting was about. I don't much care about it, and I did not even listen very closely, but my mind was blank. I remember just thinking my only goal today is to bring out this one issues of reproductive health. I remember them talking about license wages, etc. And I raised my hand, asked questions, what about reproductive health issues? And the rest was history. Despite that, my husband kept supporting me and helping me emotionally through this all time. And culturally, this is not an easy task for me. Even when I became a student at Union Leadership Institute, Cornell, and talk about these issues in front of labor leaders, I learned about that even in the United States, that women still struggle to talk about these issues and won't come out publicly, even in this country. I'm very shocked from that message, actually. And I try to compare my culture and American culture. It doesn't matter for women and reproductive health issues and miscarriages issues. People have private messaged me over the year. Other workers have come up to me at Exxon's meeting and thanked me for bringing up this issue, since they too have experienced miscarriages or reproductive health issues. This is why I bring this up, even when we talk about why we need ventilation. When I started seeing health and safety training myself, I saw there was a gap in those training to incorporate reproductive issues and issues, especially to women who were thinking about having children or were pregnant. I like to give some chemical example. I have this memory of reading the chemical hazard message on back of a base coat, which is using like toluene and formaldehyde. I remember reading it, and it said there are hazards for birth defects. I saw also that when inspectors came by, employers would hide the chemicals or put them in bottles that were not labeled. Chemicals that was also used on corpses at the funeral homes to make sure the nails look alive for some time. Also, no masks, gloves, no ventilation, working on acrylic, gel manicure, no chemical and dust exposure. UV exposure is so bad for pregnant women. As you sit at the table, the light hits your belly. Exactly. I think about how people wear sunglasses for UV light exposure, but nail technicians are sitting there being exposed. Doctors never brought it up with me while I was working in nails, but now that I am not working in the nails, they say things like, oh, it's good that you are not working in nails anymore. Isn't it so funny? How come they can hide these things to their client, to their patient? I had 7 miscarriages in total 2012. Do we not have the right to give birth to healthy babies? I have seen a lot of developmental problem among kids of other nail technicians. I know there are major development delays. So many other members and workers I know have had 4 to 5 or more miscarriages, but they are afraid to speak up, and I understand why. Outside of reproductive issues, I know close to 40 to 50 other women who have severe issues, respiratory issues, cancer, skin disease, and allergies are given at this point among every workers. We need to create a healthier industry, a system of benefits for women so that they can return to work after having a child. This is not just for nail technicians. Any industries where women work, where they are working in dangerous conditions, instead of asking women workers if they are pregnant, do not ask them, why are you working? How come you are still working? It doesn't make sense. Only the people who are working in the industries is allowed to ask these kind of questions from client, owner, and whoever is, comfortable to ask these questions. Ask them how are they doing. Ask them if they are okay, or if you can get them water or sit down. They know the risks they are taking. Don't embarrass them. This is my humble request to all who have concern about it. Chemical research, physical health, mental health, and reproductive health is most important to adjust in the nail industry is research and study. Please don't extend the ventilation things for longer and longer. Many nail technicians are waiting for that and healthier condition in the industry. Sorry for that. Okay, so I like to share my happiness a little bit at the end. Sorry, I'm very emotional. So after many years of struggle, I became a senior organizer. My health is much better now and out of chemicals, but I'm not satisfied. All nail technicians are deserve it. And I tried again and successfully became pregnant. My baby's name is Supreme and makes us laugh and cry, and he's 2 years old. He loves hugging and kissing me all over my face and loves to express himself this way. He's so loving, and I know he's learning so much from me and my struggle. Every day I come home and he brings me a new kind of energy and love for our people to keep fighting. One day I'm ready to give a message to my baby for our fight and win. Thank you for listening to me.